Hey guys, it's Anna from Kaiju Bites, and I haven't done a food review in a wee bit, so I figured let's correct that. We've been doing a lot of kaiju and nerd stuff, so here's a food review. So when we were going to Busch Gardens Memorial Weekend, we were like trying to see if we could go, at least for a few hours, but like when we traffic was just, I know, like I've lived in Northern Virginia long enough to know better. So we were like, well, we're not gonna make Busch Gardens. So I was like, well, do you want to try the Cuban place? We had tried going down for their soft opening, but by the time we went to their soft opening, it had already closed. They had sold out of the food. And I was like, yeah, for a soft opening, you know, sometimes they do run out of food. So, you know, and I think the soft opening was like, you know, early April, I have to say, or early May, anyways. So, you know, my fiance is half Cuban and he really loves Cuban food. You know, like I'm half Korean and I love Korean food. I also love black food because I'm half black. But, you know, anyways. So, you know, and I guess Northern Virginia and DC area, like you think it's like kind of international that they would have a lot of Cuban choices, but unfortunately for my fiance there's not a lot of good real Cuban options. And so we have, you know, to satisfy our Cuban fix, there is the colada shop, which we do go to on occasion. But, you know, Chris was always wanting to try a new Cuban place. And this was actually a food truck before it became an actual sit-down restaurant. And every time the food truck was in our area, like we were busy or we had stuff to do, or when we found out it was already too late. So, you know, I heard that they were closing, but they were going to transfer into like a brick and mortar store. I was like, yes, awesome. And it's actually funny, when I Googled the location, it kept popping up as Kappa Garden. And I never did a review of Kappa Garden, but like if you look at my like YouTube history, it's like one of my second videos before I really officially started the channel. And that's actually where me and my fiance's first date is, at Kappa Garden. And so it was funny that I was like, oh, well, I'm sad that Kappa Garden is closed, but I'm excited that it's a Cuban restaurant. And Kappa Garden was a conveyor belt sushi place, and they still had the conveyor belt. I was like, oh, you just put Cuban sandwiches on the little conveyor, but I don't think they're gonna do that. The croquetas, we ordered the croquetas as our appetizer, and be fair warned, I am horrible with Spanish pronunciation. I blame my Korean mother for teaching me English, and, you know, like, Korean and Spanish are definitely not the same languages, and R's and L's are hard for Korean people to pronounce, and I kind of get that from my mother. But anyways, so I was like, I didn't know what I want. But Chris got croquetas as appetizers, and they were good. They were actually probably the best croquetas I've ever had. My problem was that they weren't very warm. I think they didn't warm them up right, or I have no idea. They just weren't really warm. They were warm, but not hot, like, you know, fresh croquetas. I got the Cuban just because I was like, I wanted to get other stuff, but I was like, I feel like I needed to review a Cuban sandwich at a Cuban place. I don't know why. And then Chris got the rope verda, I can't say it. And he actually loved it. Like, he actually was in love with it. I thought it was super good too. And my Cuban sandwich was good. And oh, we got tostadas. And tostadas is, hopefully I'm picking the right word. It's like the Cuban bread with butter, and that was amazing. Like, it was just phenomenal. Like, bread and butter is just amazing, and Cuban bread and butter is even more amazinger. Making up words. But definitely, like, the tostadas were great. We got and I got, you know, Cuban, and he got the rope verda, and very, very good. I have to say I like colada shop's sandwich a little better, but I think it's because it was just like more like hot. Like, I feel weird because like the sandwich was warm, but it wasn't like hot. And, you know, temperature-wise with Chris's dish, it was fine. And, you know, we also ordered after a huge party, so I don't know if that affected, like, I have no idea. But that's probably my only, like, complaint about this place is, like, the food was, like, warm. It wasn't, like, piping hot, you know. And, what was the other? Oh, so we got flan. And I have to say, this is probably the best flan I've ever had. Sometimes when you go and get flan at some places, it's, like, too sweet. Like, you're, like... you know, but this was like perfect. Like, I don't know if there's coffee in the flan, but like the caramel had like, it was more of a complex caramel that I've ever had. I know that sounds weird. It sounded weird when I just said it, but like it just didn't taste like sugar caramel. Like it had a little bit more complexity to the flavor, and it tasted almost coffee-like. I don't know if it was. But it was so good. It was probably the best flan. And I've been on a flan trip ever since, but it's just not the same as theirs. So we have to make another trip to Fredericksburg area to get it. And, you know, on our way home, like we ordered cafe con leches, but because of the party, they ordered like 5 cafe con leche. Well, like they ordered a lot of coffee too. So they actually gave it to us for free, which is super sweet of them. The waitress felt bad because, you know, we had, like, that was the only thing we were waiting for at that point in our dinner was just the coffee. And I have to say, it was on point. So I haven't, you know, I just realized I never finished the Colada Shop review. I need to finish that. But, so the owner of Colada Shop, one of the owners, I think is, like, multiple owners, whenever she's at that machine, she makes the best cafe con leches. Like, you know, people are like, oh, it's just a drink. They just pour milk, you know, pour the espresso. No, there's like an art and a talent to like making good drinks. And like the owner of Colada Shop, man, she can do it like perfectly. And, you know, and all of her workers, it just tastes like a latte whenever anybody else makes it. It just tastes like a regular latte. And it's not. Like, cafe con leche has like a different taste to it. And whoever made it in the back, perfect. It tasted exactly like the other lady, and it tasted like how I had it in Florida. It was just perfect. So definitely, like, it gets a solid 4.5. I would give it a 4 just because, like, the temperatures of the food. But I definitely would go back. I definitely, like, need that flan back in my life. And I also want to try some other dishes. They don't have breaded steak, which was actually probably, like, the first Cuban dish I've ever had down in Florida. But that restaurant was, like, a bigger restaurant. But yeah, and that's, like, the one thing that I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Because the breaded steak was, like, bigger than my forehead. I mean, not my forehead, my whole entire head. And it was so delicious, but, like, I guess that's just one dish that none of these Cuban places up here have. But I can't wait to go back and try it again. But until next time, I give it a 4-star, four kaiju bites. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.